Contact lenses.
Absolutely.
If you've ever looked at all the options out there, I mean, different types, different schedules, different materials, it can feel pretty overwhelming.
It really can. It's a whole landscape.
Consider us your guides. We've, spent some time navigating this stuff.
And from our perspective, seeing what people actually need and how the tech has changed, the big picture starts with how we fix specific vision issues. And yeah, for most people, soft lenses are where it begins.
Those lenses, right?
They cover the vast majority.
Yeah.
And they break down into a few main designs: spherical, toric, and multifocal.
Okay, so spherical, that's the standard one for basic near or farsightedness.
Exactly. If your eyes pretty much round up front, not much astigmatism, usually we say less than, say, minus 0.75 diopters, a spherical lens works perfectly. It bends light evenly.
Simple enough.
What's interesting, though, is your contact lens prescription might look a little different from your glasses prescription.
Oh, why is that?
Well, it's because the contact sits right on your eye, not a bit away like glasses. So that distance changes the power needed. Your eye doctor does this quick calculation, vortex conversion, to adjust it.
Vortex conversion. Makes sense.
The closeness matters. Now, just a quick pause. The deep dive is brought to you by LensPricer. LensPricer is a free contact lens price comparison website, helping you find the lowest price for your exact lenses online. Check how much you could save over at lenspricer.com. Okay, so what if your eye isn't perfectly round? What about astigmatism?
Right, that takes us to toric lenses. Now, this is where things get more specific. Astigmatism means your cornea, the front part of your eye, is shaped more like a football than a basketball.
Uneven curves.
Exactly. So light bends differently depending on the direction. A toric lens isn't just a simple curve. It has different powers built into different meridians to correct that.
Okay.
And the key thing, the really crucial part, is that it has to stay put in the right orientation.
Unlike a spherical one, you can just pop in.
Precisely. If a toric lens rotates even a little bit, your vision can get blurry, just like that.
I've heard people mention that their lens is spinning. How do manufacturers stop that? Ah, that's the clever part. They use different design tricks. Maybe thin zones, top and bottom, or thicker areas. Some even add a tiny bit of weight ballast, they call it, to help it settle correctly and stay stable when you blink.
So the fit is extra important.
It's absolutely critical for torics. It affects how stable that lens is on your eye. And you can get them in soft materials, usually more comfy initially, or RGP, rigid gas permeable.
The hard lenses.
Yeah, sometimes called hard lenses. They can give incredibly sharp vision, especially for some prescriptions, but they definitely take more getting used to.
Okay, so we've got distance covered, astigmatism covered. What about needing help up close? The my arms aren't long enough issue.
That's presbyopia, and that's where multifocal lenses come in. These are pretty amazing, actually.
How do they work?
They have different zones or powers built right into the lens. Some designs use concentric rings. Others have a more gradual change. The idea is to let your eye find the right focus for distance and near, all at the same time.
Wow, in one tiny lens.
Yep. And you can even get toric multifocals if you're lucky enough to need correction for astigmatism and presbyopia.
Okay, so that covers the types of vision correction. But the replacement schedule, how often you change them, that seems like a big deal too. Especially for comfort. Dailies seem huge now.
They really are. And honestly, for good reason. Think about it. A fresh, sterile lens every single morning.
No cleaning.
Exactly. Minimal chance for deposits like proteins or lipids from your tears to build up. So if you struggle with dryness or maybe allergies, dailies often feel much better. You're always starting clean.
Health-wise, too.
Many eye doctors consider them the safest option for reducing the risk of certain complications, just because you handle them less and there's no cleaning solution involved. Plus, they're just so convenient, right? Especially if you travel or only wear contacts sometimes.
Makes sense. What about the other common ones, the 2-week or monthly lenses? They're often cheaper.
They generally are more cost-effective up front, yeah. The trade-off is the discipline. You have to clean and store them properly every single night.
And even then?
Even with great cleaning, some buildup over 2 weeks or a month is kind of inevitable. Some people definitely notice their comfort level drops off near the end of the wearing cycle compared to that fresh, daily lens feeling.
Right. And then there are the ones you can supposedly sleep in. Expended wear.
Ah, yes, the sleep-in lenses.
Yeah.
Some specific lenses are FDA approved for limited overnight wear, maybe up to 6 nights for something like AccuView Oasis. But even the companies that make them often say only if necessary.
Why the caution?
Sleeping in any contact lens significantly bumps up the risk of serious eye infections or inflammation. It just reduces oxygen to the cornea overnight. Plus, comfort-wise, A lot of people wake up feeling like they have sandpaper in their eyes.
Ouch. Sandpaper eyes. Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. If someone does use extended wear, following their doctor's instructions to the absolute letter is paramount. No stretching it.
We've mostly talked soft lenses, but you mentioned RGPs earlier. Any other types worth noting?
Well, besides the standard RGPs, there's a really interesting category called scleral lenses. These are larger diameter rigid lenses.
Larger. How do they work?
Instead of resting on the cornea, they actually vault over it entirely and rest on the sclera, the white part of the eye.
Why would you want that?
They create this little reservoir of fluid between the lens and the cornea.
Mm.
It's fantastic for people with really severe dry eye or conditions where the cornea shape is very irregular, maybe after surgery or due to something like keratoconus. Standard lenses just might not work or stay hydrated. They're more specialized, but truly life-changing for the right person.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. Choosing a contact lens is clearly way more than just matching a prescription number.
Oh, absolutely. We've hit on spherical, toric, multifocal for vision needs. We've talked schedules, daily, 2-week, monthly, mentioned RGPs and sclerals. But finding your perfect lens, it's so personal.
It's about the material.
It's material, how it feels on your specific eye, how it interacts with your tear film, the fit, your lifestyle, whether you have dry eye. All of it matters.
Which really highlights why talking to your eye doctor is key.
It's essential. They can assess everything, and they have trial lenses. You can actually try different types of materials to see what feels best and works best for you before you commit to a full supply.
You know, you think about all the technology, the precise optics for astigmatism, the zones for multifocals, the materials that let your eye breathe, keeping it comfortable, all packed into that tiny little piece of plastic.
It really is quite remarkable.
It makes you appreciate the complexity, doesn't it? And definitely underlines why having that conversation with your eye care professional is so important to navigate it all.